Hello and welcome back to my channel. This is Supercoach Challenges and my name is Jacob. So today I thought we'd do a video and have a look at some of the news that's come out over the past few days regarding a few players. A lot of it is actually affecting these mid-price players and probably is a bit of a headache for our classic teams. But for me and for the Supercoach Challenges team, may not be as bad as we think. So there's actually been quite a lot that's affected the team, and it's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out. So if we start with Nat Five, so Nat Five obviously was injured. Came out that has been dealing with a plantar fascia injury, which now the doctors have said is on and off per the official injury list. They think he'll be back this week. And I was just looking at the percentage of holding, and I can't believe 27% of teams still hold Nat Five. Uh, as I was saying in the review, I'm now not surprised that they've looked to play him in the forward line so much. Like I thought originally it was just because of age, but it looks like now it actually could be because of the plantar fasciitis as well, because obviously it has quite a large effect on your running capacity. And I would not be wanting to have him in my classic team and having to deal with the fact that he might have those injuries. So I'm surprised he's still in 27% of teams. Um, It'll be interesting to see if that changes this week. I don't even think he's in most. Oh yeah, he is in the most traded out, 8%. So I don't think he's the most traded out overall, because obviously people are dealing with Gorn and some other stuff. But I'm surprised by it's been kept in so many teams. But anyway, going past that, next we've got it's come out today that Jacob Hopper is dealing with a knee injury, and that's very interesting because I believe what he injured. Although when I watched the replay of the injury, I was thinking, surprised it isn't a knee. But they were saying it was his ankle on the game day, but now it looks like his knees come back to fight. And you know what? This was something that Hopper had been already dealing with. It's very interesting to see now that he's having to rest a week due to that knee, only 2 rounds in. So maybe not the best for outcome for Hopper and all of us who hold him. But I think he's a guy we're going to have to keep. And I'm keeping him in this team because we're going to have the cover to be able to cover that anyway. But yeah, the injury to Hopper is not great. The good news is that I think that with another injury in Jack Steele, I think he could actually be really good for the role of Naishwangin Malira. Because I think it could mean that Ross looks to maybe push Sinclair up into the midfield a bit more, which could mean that there's some more kickouts that become available to Wanganeen Malira, thus helping with his output. So for now, we're going to just switch the positions of those two and get Wanganeen Malira on the field because Hopper's going to make money and he's actually going to be a fairly decent scorer. And he's probably one of the players we're going to hold for as long as possible, as long as he keeps scoring. Because there's other issues in this mid-price team, especially with the structure, that we're going to have to fix first. Now, the other injury in this team is Darcy Fogarty. What I've heard on the news is that he is trying to be available for selection, which puts us in an interesting position. Do we look to trade him? It's a hard one. Like I can't see him playing heaps well with the injury. Could be one we just try and get on the bench, but I'm not completely sure about that one either. So interesting to see what happens there and whether you get selected. So with that, and having gone through the injuries that are at least affecting our team, we look at what we can do for trades. The other thing I forgot to mention was that Hunter Clark could get some positive influence with CBAs increasing as well for St Kilda, which could be good. But yeah, it could be shared with Sinclair. Probably hoping it's going to be shared with Sinclair because Clark seemed to get enough disposals as it was. It's just Supercoach data, champion data wasn't exactly nice to him. So hopefully Wanganeen Malira gets some kickouts and that will help our scoring going forward. Now, we looked at the round two trades we were looking at doing. I think we were looking at getting rid of Ben Long, Nat Fife, and I don't think these two will change. I really did not like the way that Long was playing, and I definitely think we're better off getting rid of him. So, getting rid of Ben Long, we are going to bring in a lower price player because basically the strategy at the moment has been, I don't know why I always press players I can afford. The strategy at the moment has been to, we're going to trade out, we trade to a lower player and bank some cash because by banking the cash, it should hopefully save us from doing a double trade to get money in for an upgrade. So, and over the past day, there have been actually two players that have kind of come to mind. There's a few people who are pretty big on Buckley. He had a 99 last week, which looks like it had come out of the whole Whitfield injury. Ash maybe pushing up into the midfield a bit more. And even the fact that we're playing West Coast. I was having a look at Buckley and he's not getting kickouts. There's no CBAs that are helping him. So he's, I assume he's lined up on a back flank. So they're playing him. So, and I suggest that Haynes is also getting some of these cut-off marks. So I just don't know if higher scoring is sustainable for Buckley. I do like him, but I think that McKenna's lower price and probably same-ish role, I think that especially like we probably know a bit more about McKenna than we do about Buckley, is that it looks like Brisbane do look to go through him. And that's the reason why we're going to probably stick with McKenna, lower price, probably the main factor there, and go with that trade. Now, I believe we did this before, but the next one we'd be bringing in is in the forward line, and it would be young man in Harry Sheezel. So with Harry Sheezel, it's pretty obvious. They play Hawthorn. There's just no reason not to. 198k, 214s in the bag, and enough data now to say that he will be playing this role. Not sure whether he's going to be affected by an Aaron Hall re-entry to the team. Apparently, he had 37 disposals on the weekend, and it'd be interesting to see. But you'd think that Clarko wouldn't want to change too much with them winning. Maybe if they start to lose a few games, that could become an issue. But it looks like Cheesel's found a home on the back in the back lines that he's not going to lose anytime soon. So we'll do these two trades for now. Now, what it does leave us with is obviously Fogarty in the forward line with not much colour. So, and we've kind of, we haven't lost the mid forward swing, which is good. So, what we can do is we can go Wanganim, we can bring on Ashcroft. Sorry, I believe I heard news that Connor Nash is missing this week. If we have a look at the injury list, I don't know if it's injury, if it's for another reason. Maybe got suspended. I'm not sure. I'm not across that one. I thought I'd heard that he was going to be missing, which means CMAC would be getting more disposals. Oh, not disposals, CBA. So hopefully we can get a good enough coverage here. And we're going to put Powell into our forward line for maybe Flanders, I'd say. Now, the thing here is we're going to have some loopholing opportunity. But it does look like that Richmond played the second game round. So what's hard about this then is, if Gold Coast played before Richmond, we could have looked at maybe loop Flanders, but that doesn't look the case. Now, Geelong also have a late game this week, which isn't helpful, but it could be a good reason to keep Bruin. They've got Gold Coast, so I do really like that matchup. I really like the Horn Francis matchup as well with Adelaide. So, we could have some good scoring in the forward line again. Hopefully, Zeeble, Power, and Sheezel towel up with Hawthorn. It could be a really good week. If anyone watched Footy Classified, you had Sam Mitchell on there discussing about the tanking theories that a lot of the people in the media are throwing out. And if you did watch that, you would have heard that he said that one of the main reasons they traded away Mitchell and even I think Amira was kind of late, but was because they wanted to get Will Day more time in the midfield. So I feel like this position he's playing is not going to change, and it's going to mean if he can get a little bit more um, form in there, I think it's going to be really, really good. And really, really good scoring. And, he put together a 98 this week, and hopefully he can build off that, especially against North Melbourne. It also bodes well for Warple. Ash has probably got one of the harder lineups matchups this week against GWS, whereas it's probably good for Kerno. Carlton do have one of the hardest to score against midfields, so it'll be interesting to see what happens there. I really like the matchup for Wiedering as well because GWS are quite undermanned in that forward line. He could be, if they decide to play a Cadman, that could be the guy Wiedering's lining up on, so that seems to be really good for us as well. Inge, Port Adelaide, who knows? Hopefully the Crows come out firing, but we'll see. Jimby's just going to keep playing like Jimby, and in a big matchup against Fremantle, hopefully we can get some good scoring out of him. Essendon v St Kilda is going to be very interesting, but Setterfield, who's probably the third midfielder in their side, you would probably say that Merritt and Parrish are going to be ones that would get a bit of attention. It's probably a good matchup for Setterfield as well. And Lockie Hunter actually has a very hard matchup against Sydney. Now, the thing about this though is Sydney probably go to Oliver and Petrarca first. And they've still got Grundy as their tap ruck, even without Gawn. Well, I don't think Grundy's is known for his tap rucking skills as he is for his around the ground work as a ruckman, but it's still good for Hunter. And they have quite a young midfield as well, Sydney. So he's an old head who can probably, hopefully, get another 90-ish score. So the main issue, obviously, still is rucks. Now, the good news is Geelong plays Gold Coast, which is really good because hopefully we see a lot of bombing ball from Gold Coast, and maybe Asava's finally starting to get a hang of the role he's playing. I mean, he did put up a 50 the week before this, so hopefully he can put up a 60-ish, and that will be enough for us for one more week. I'm not sure what I'm going to do here with the upgrade there because, I think I might actually go Flanders up, and Asava can go into the forward line, and Davey can go into midfield when we make that trade next week. I think that's what we'll look at doing. It's probably the best from a cash perspective and the best to help us move on out to our next rut without expending too much money. Who did Brisbane have? Brisbane have the Dogs on the first day, so this is probably what we're going to look to loop. We can get a good loop score. I can't get Constable into the mid. Getting rid of Chesser could actually be good. Like, I would not mind that because looking at this, the rest of our rookies are pretty good. Chesser might not make us money, and money's going to be king in this team. Let's look at our. Actually, maybe I could do this next week and go on like a crazier. I guess then the decision is why not just go for a higher price player. Tom Cole's there, not a great scoring output. Darcy Wilmot. Probably should go on Wilmot over Chesser. I assume I went Chesser just because of the defensive midfield status, which is kind of hurting at the moment. Trades won't work so much. We just got to hope Chesser puts it together. Otherwise, he's just going to sit on the bench for a while. It doesn't really matter. We don't really need him as cover. We've got Constable there. And anyway, we're going to be starting to upgrade these guys. If someone gets injured, we can just upgrade them. That's probably one of the benefits. If someone gets injured, we upgrade them. And so that leaves us with just Fogarty. And it does look like that Fogarty could be the choice. Now, at first we went Chandler. Melbourne have Swans. Isn't the greatest matchup, to be honest. I don't like Philippu's role. Long's quite good. Bruce has actually got quite a good role. Caminiti had quite a good run. Samson Ryan's not on the bubble yet, so that's not something either. So it's kind of like probably hoping the Fog plays. Because at the moment, I'm not sure it's worth going down to Chandler because then we have to field Chandler. And we have to field Fogarty, and I guess Chandler has out averaged him. Chandler has averaged 82, so obviously that's good. Fog could stand up against Port, but I would probably assume not. Is Fog going to go down money? If he's going to go down money, I might trade him. 69 break even. Look, I think we're going to go back to what we had in the round 2 review, which was Chandler. Unless someone else kind of pops out of here. So I pick it. Now, Amadi played really well, but that's a one-hit wonder, realistically. I don't see him doing that every week, and Buddy's back this week. Liam Ryan, quite good, but I don't think he does it every week either. Larky, great goal kicker, but North have been on top of the world, and he's only averaging 88, so can't take. Now, I do like Machida Owens, actually. That's actually really nice, but, the difference in K Chandler and him is 120k. So I'd probably rather do 20k if I'm going to trade up. So this is what we're going to go for. And I'm pretty happy with this structure. Obviously, there's not much to it, but better than nothing. So with Hopper out, we're going to look to loop him with Baker. If Baker does well, we've obviously got to look for a VC captain, actually. So that's something to look at. So who's probably got the best VC matchup for WS play? Keeping Fife would actually be good for that last game VC, but I'd just probably rather get rid of him before, like, Sheasel's going to make way more money, so I'd rather just get Sheasel. So we could VC Zeeble with that Hawthorn North game. Does finish just before the DWS Carlton game, so that's good. And do we go on Setterfield? I don't like Setterfield VCing. But realistically, there's not much other choice, and he seems to be the guy if anyone's going to do it. Like, let's go to a list here, trying to give us a idea about the averages. So we look at the list view. Shees was actually the second guy, but him and Z will play at the same time, and you probably expect a little bit of drop off from Sheasel here. So I think we will go with Captain Setterfield against St Kilda. And that's how we're going to line up, and hopefully it does well. So if we scroll down, we look at our averages, actually. How many players have capped over 80? So 12. So 12 of 22, we've got over 80. And then the lowest is 57 outside. We could have got all of these guys up to 8. I mean, Day's only 1 point. So 13. Hunter just had a shocker first week. But yeah, not too bad. Obviously not the best. But you know what? We're only looking to climb each week. And next week's where the real fun begins. We get our first over 400k player in, and we're going to start booming through those ranks because we might actually have a decent VC opportunity. Tempted to go Timmy English next week, not going to lie. Probably be a bit cheaper than Wit still. But I guess we'll figure that out when we get to it. So Anyway, thanks for watching. If you have any comments, leave one. Give me something to reply to. Give us a subscribe and follow along. This is a bit of fun. Obviously, we're not going to win, but let's see what we can get from here. Next week's where the primos start coming in, and we're going to start getting some big scores. So follow along, join us, and let's do the best we can this year. And good luck to all of your classic teams this week. In an ideal world where you've got proper classic team, Dacos against Richmond on Friday is looking like a very tasty VC option. So I would be going there, and you have him. I don't go anyone in that Brisbane Dogs game. Outside of that, it's actually quite a hard VC week because Oliver and Laird play late, and so does Took. So I'd probably captain Laird. He can score quite well against Port Adelaide. He's shown it. I think they tried to tag him last week, but otherwise, I'm not really sure. Oliver's been pretty good against Sydney, and it's at the MCG, so it's not the SCG, which is good. So, anyway, thanks for listening. Subscribe, and next week we'll be looking at moving up in those ranks a bit further and getting our first primo in. So, have a good weekend and good luck to all your teams. See you for the next video.